This winter is about to get a lot more interesting, as a major shift in our jet stream will split the country into two very different regions. Abnormally warm conditions are building across the western and central United States, which will cause a chain reaction with two Arctic blasts set to impact the eastern tier of the country, creating a sharp temperature contrast that opens the door for a widespread snow event. The first Arctic blast is arriving today, with a large cold front extending from Texas to the northeast. This will drop temperatures by as much as 30 degrees and will bring some isolated snow showers, especially across the northeast. But the next Arctic blast will be way more intense, with temperatures dropping as much as 40 degrees in 24 hours. As a result, a winter storm could develop, bringing a widespread snow event across the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and East Coast, including areas as far south as North Carolina. So in today's forecast, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know about this major weather pattern flip that is about to happen. So over the next 7 days, we are expecting a couple of different Arctic blasts, and the first one is not going to be nearly as intense. That's the one that's arriving today and tomorrow. And then the next one will be this weekend, which is going to bring a much more widespread shot of snow and much colder air. So let's begin with what is happening today. And we already have a pretty strong cold front that is making its way across New England, all the way back down towards the Gulf Coast. Most areas in the Ohio Valley back into the southeast are right around 10 to 15 degrees below average, with some isolated locations around 20 degrees below average. Notice how the West Coast and the Great Plains are on a completely different level when it comes to our temperatures, well above average all across the Dakotas and back into California. Many of these areas have not seen any rain or snow in weeks, and even in some cases over a month. So it's been a very dry winter for many of you over in the Rockies. Now, as we go into Thursday, that is when the cold air is going to build even further across the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, with some areas as low as 30 degrees below average. Another shot of cold air will make its way down into Florida late tomorrow, and that is going to drop temperatures by a lot. So we've been dealing with a pretty cold week already. It's going to get even colder as we go into Thursday. Friday, cold air will linger all up and down the East Coast. Warmer air is going to build across the central and southern plains. And then our next Arctic shot of air will come in Friday and Saturday. This will be impacting the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes Friday night. By Saturday morning, it's going to eventually move into the Northeast, where temperatures will be very cold as we go into Saturday and Sunday. And we could have some areas near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania by Sunday morning around 40 degrees below normal. So temperatures are going to drop significantly Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday that cold air is going to linger, especially if you're back over in New England, where the potential for snow will continue as well on Sunday. Now, while that's happening, we are once again going to have a very large area of warm air that is going to be building all across the Great Plains and back into the West Coast. And for some of you, you're probably thinking this might be the end of winter, right? Well, a lot of the time when we get these warm-ups, even during the month of February, it can typically lead to a much more significant winter threat during the middle and end of the month. And that's what I think will happen. Sometime around the middle and end of February, we should see another big shot of Arctic air. And on top of that, we'll probably end up seeing another major winter storm threat. But at least for the time being, it looks like early next week will be well above average all across the Great Plains in the Midwest. Some areas could be as much as 30 degrees above average. So we are really about to go from record-breaking cold temperatures all the way to record-breaking warmth by the middle of February. So things are about to get very interesting. Now, currently, we do have a cold front that is stretching from South Texas all the way back up into New England, where temperatures have already fallen off by about 10 to 15 degrees in most areas. By this afternoon, though, if you're back over in the southern plains, it's going to be mild across Texas and Oklahoma, high temperatures reaching the 50s. All across the Northeast, Great Lakes, and Midwest, it's going to be very cold, and it's going to stay like that, unfortunately, for quite a bit of time. If you live anywhere in the Northeast, this is going to be the corridor where winter is really not going anywhere. Even Thursday morning, we're talking about sub-zero temperatures for many of you. Friday morning will be very cold with improvements. If you're over in the central and southern plains, some areas will actually be warm on Friday, mid to upper 70s, even near 80 degrees near Wichita Falls, Texas by Friday afternoon. But Saturday is when another shot of Arctic air is expected to spill across the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and the Northeast. Temperatures, though, will drop off a lot more on Sunday. So Sunday will be one of the colder days of the week, with some areas in Pennsylvania and back into New England being around 15 to 20 degrees below zero. Temperatures across the Gulf Coast and all across the Great Plains are going to get all the way up into the mid to upper 60s and low 70s. So talk about a dramatic flip with our weather pattern here as we go into this upcoming weekend. And then by early next week, all that warm air is going to make its way all the way up into Iowa, Illinois, and also to the Dakotas. So it's going to get a lot warmer here